Okay, so thanks for joining me, guys. Today I'm going to show you how to get the Classic Negative film simulation even if you don't have the X Pro 3 or the new X Pro 4 coming up. So we'll show you how to get that either on your XT3, your XT30, or if you have an older Fujifilm camera, we'll show you how to get it on that as well. Now, the easiest and fastest way to get Classic Negative is just to download the new version of Capture One. So just go to the Capture One website. I believe they still have a 30-day trial that's free. So I'll leave a link in the description below so you can figure that out. Just as a heads up, I don't work for Capture One. I don't sell Capture One. I'm just a user of Capture One that really likes the software program. Okay, so let's get started. We have our image opened here. We've got a baby and the baby's mom. This was shot on a Fujifilm X-T3, ISO 500, 1/60th of a second at f4. The white balance was set to auto. Capture One is going to make it super easy and super fast to get Classic Negative. So it's really just a 1 or 2 step process. The first thing you're going to need to do is open Capture One. And in Capture One, you want to go to your base characteristics tab. So we can see where my mouse is moving. There's the base characteristics. Let's open that up. And then you'll see curve. You're going to want to change the curve. Now, when we pull down the menu, we can see all the Fujifilm options for the film simulations here, from Classic Chrome to Acros to Pro Negative. And here in the middle, we can see Classic Negative. So we can leave our mouse to the side, and each one, when we just scroll on without clicking, we can see how that changes the tone curve. So let's go ahead and click Classic Negative, and that's it. We're done. I have a buddy who has the X Pro 3, and I was actually able to compare some files shot with his X Pro 3 straight out of camera with the Classic Negative simulation, and I was able to compare those files shot straight out of camera from the X Pro 3 with the RAW files shot with the XT3 converted to Classic Negative in Capture One. And they were actually pretty close there. Even when I compare my XT3 shot straight out of camera to the Capture One Pro conversions, I find them to be very, very close. If anything, maybe Capture One just adds a little bit more contrast. But other than that, they're almost identical if you're either shooting JPEG or converting after the fact RAW with Capture One. So that was the easiest way to do it. If you don't want to switch to Capture One, or you just don't have the time to learn a new piece of software, the other thing we can do is convert your RAW in Lightroom. If you don't want to download Capture One, or you don't want to purchase it right now, or you just don't want to learn a new piece of software, then you can just take your RAW into Lightroom and convert it to something very close to Classic Negative there. So let's go ahead and do that. And I've already got Lightroom open. So we'll make our Capture One file just a little bit smaller, and we can use that as a reference. I also screenshotted the histogram, so we can use that maybe as a reference too. If you want to screenshot that and see what the tone curve looks like for a Classic Negative shot in the daylight, you can take a screenshot of this histogram here and use that as a reference when you're dialing in your photograph. So let's go to Lightroom. And now we're in Lightroom. You can make some basic adjustments to the exposure to make sure it matches what you want starting out. And the first thing we'll do in Lightroom to try to match Classic Negative is we're going to change this profile here. So you can see in the Basics panel, we open the Basics panel up, and we see a section called Profile. And what we want to do is change that profile. So click on the drop-down menu. We'll click Browse. And when you shoot an XT3 or an XT30, even some of the older Fujifilm cameras, you'll have the options to change to the in-camera film simulations with the profiles here. So what you want to do is find our Classic Chrome profile, and we'll use the Classic Chrome as our base. I found that this is probably the closest thing as far as contrast goes to the Classic Negative. The colors are a little bit different, but we'll show you how to tweak those in a second there. So we'll click that Classic Chrome as our base, and we've got that, and then we'll close that up. I think there's a few basic things you want to keep in mind when you're converting and using Classic Chrome as a base. So first, the greens are going to be very important when trying to match the Classic Negative film simulation. One thing it does to the greens is it shifts it towards aqua just a little bit, and then it desaturates the greens, and then also it kind of darkens the greens. And then the greens are also introduced to the shadows, giving us kind of a matrixy look, or maybe a 1970s look to the shadow areas. And then the highlights, Classic Negative introduces a little bit of yellow tones or yellow orangish tones to the highlights and the skin tones. As far as the contrast goes, when I look at it with my own eyes, I feel like Classic Negative gives it a little bit of clarity and bumps up the contrast just a hair compared to the Classic Chrome. So let's begin. The first thing we'll do after we've changed our file to the Classic Chrome base is we'll add a little bit of clarity. So I'm going to change that. We'll bump it up to 10. So you can see our clarity is now at 10. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to play with our greens. We're going to open the Hue, Saturation, Luminance color panel, and we're going to change that hue. I'll zoom in here, and then I'll zoom in also on our reference image in Capture One there. So you can see in Capture One how the greens are a little bit darker, and they're actually shifted more towards aqua as well. So I'm going to try to match that. So let's go to our hue adjustment. We'll dial the greens in. If we go this way, we can see it looks more yellowish. If we go this way, that's kind of the effect that we're going for. So let's start back in the middle. Let's just keep cranking it up until we get something close. So that looks pretty good at around 34, 35. We'll leave that there. We can actually play with the aqua tones here as well, because there are some aqua tones in that green there. So let's change the aqua. We'll push it more towards the blue end. So that's going to be towards the plus end. And we'll leave that around plus 50 or so. And then the luminance, you can see how it's darker there. Let's just dial down both the luminance of the green as well as the aqua. So I think that looks pretty good. Also the blues, maybe just a little bit there. And let's zoom back out. And we'll zoom back out on both of them. We can see that matches pretty good there. We can look at the blue here. That also looks really good. Now after we play with the greens, we'll play with the split toning to add some of those greens into the shadows, as well as changing the highlights into that more yellow orangish tone. So let's do that. We've got our split tone tab open here, and we'll select a hue of about 10 for the highlights, and we can bump that up. If you want to dial in the exact tone that you want, you can oversaturate it a little bit at first and then bring it back down later. So let's see here. That looks pretty good at about 25 or 26, maybe pushing it even more towards the yellow to try to get it to match there. And then we can dial it back down, and then we can just slowly increase it just by clicking our arrow up after we've selected this box here. So we'll slowly increase the saturation on that yellowish orange. And that looks pretty close there at around 9 or 8. Now we're going to introduce those greens. So let's go to the shadows here, and let's bring the hues up here to about 130. So we'll keep that at 130, and now we can increase the saturation. 10 already looks way too much there, so let's just bump it up slowly. And it's looking like 5 is going to be pretty good to match there. Now that we've got our split toning done, let's add a little bit more clarity. And we'll keep the clarity at about 15. That looks good. And now what we'll do is dial down the blacks just a little bit, just to get some of that contrast back. So we've played with the hues of the greens. We've added some greens to the shadows. We've added our yellowish orange to the highlights and the skin tones. Now we can start playing with the vibrance and the saturation to dial those colors in just a little bit more. So we'll click the vibrance. Let's dial that up a little bit. We'll bump up the saturation, and that's starting to look really close there. Looks like maybe there's a little bit of an exposure difference. And again, each individual picture will differ. The fundamentals will stay the same, but the exposure and the contrast will be just a little bit different. So let me actually dial that down just to match, just for our demonstration purposes there. But again, the fundamentals remain the same. Okay, so it's looking pretty close there. If we want to add a little bit more green or magenta, we can do that. It looks like our reference here is just a little bit more green there. So I'm going to add just a little bit of a green tint. That looks like it's too much. We'll add back the magenta. And that looks pretty good there. If you want to dial in the colors a little bit more, you can go to the calibration tab here. When we open that, we have the ability to change the shadows as well as play with the reds and the greens a little bit more there. So it looks like the reds here we can see in the couch might be just a little bit less saturated. So we can pull down the saturation just a little bit. And the green we can play with the hue as well. So we can just adjust that by a little bit there. So that's just another way to dial in your greens to the way you like it. And our final step is to put a little bit of fade in the photograph. So we do that by going to the tone curve panel. So here's the tone curve panel. We'll open that up. Maybe we can add just a little bit of contrast here, a very slight S curve. And you can see here, to add the fade, we're going to go to our bottommost point here on the curve, click and hold that, move it to the right just a little bit, and while you're holding, you can just lift up there. So you can see, I'll over exaggerate just so you can see through the photograph here, is we can add our fade there. Now that does look like it's a little bit too much, so I'll bring that down, and let's bring that up again. So that's starting to look very close there. Again, maybe just a few differences, but I feel like our fundamentals of changing the greens, changing the hue of the greens, adding some of those greens into the shadows, adding some of that yellow orange to the skin tones is really getting us close to our classic negative film simulation. So let's compare those side by side. Okay, so when we compare side by side, again, maybe just a little bit of a difference in the exposures here, but I feel like the color and the tone is pretty close. We can probably dial in that green just a little bit more by shifting the hue as well as desaturating it a little bit more there. So let's see if we play with the contrast just a little bit. We'll click that up just a couple of clicks, and I think that gets us very, very close there. So again, a side-by-side view. This is Capture One on the left, and this is Lightroom on the right with our classic chrome base. We can probably warm that up. Actually, we can probably cool that down just a little bit. Keep in mind when you change one parameter, you're probably going to have to back down the other. So let's say we think it looks maybe a little bit too warm and we want to dial it down a little bit. When we cool down the picture, that simultaneously will cool down the highlights. So we're going to have to add some of those reds back into the highlights there. So after we cool down the global white balance, we'll have to go back to our split toning and add just a little bit more saturation in those highlights. So we've gone from 8. Let's click that up once, twice, maybe 3 times, and now that looks like it's returned to the tone that we want in the highlights there. Now, after you watch this video, if you try the tip at home yourself, make sure to leave a comment below and tell me how it worked out. Let me know if you have any questions or comments on the procedure that I showed you here today. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on Classic Negative. Please make sure to subscribe for more photo tips, tricks, and camera gear reviews. Until next time, take care and have a good day.